And hello again, everyone. We're live, and this is Professional Insights brought to you by the National Referral Network, where we share insights for professionals and everyone else for their edification, amusement, and informational purposes. Today, it's Mark Hatch. Hello, Mark Hatch. How are you?
Hey, Mike, I'm doing great. Good to see you again.
Your name's on the screen, so I don't forget. Mark is an insurance specialist specializing primarily in business insurance. And Mark's here to talk about, I don't know, I guess don't let this happen to you if you're a business owner, because there's a lot that you don't want to happen to you if you're a business owner. Mark's going to explain what some of those things are. But before we do that, Mark, tell us about your firm, what makes you special, unique, and, what are your superpowers?
What's kept us in business for 30 years? And that is one thing unique about our business is the fact that we've been here for 30 years. But largely, what has done that is that obviously we sell insurance. That's what pays our bills too. But we solve problems for our clients. We try to get to know our clients, and we try to help them solve whatever problems they might be. Sometimes that's selling an insurance policy, but sometimes that's also helping them transfer risk in a contract, or that's maybe referring them into an attorney who has specialties in certain areas and things of that sort. And so we've partnered with our clients, and that's why our retention is as high as it is, because we're kind of we intentionally try to be more of an integral part in their business, and instead of just an insurance agent that shows up to collect some premium and we're gone.
And you deal with a lot of business owners, obviously. What are some of the larger mistakes you see them making in the areas of insurance?
The biggest one, which always jumps out, is somebody thinks they got a great deal because they got a low premium, a cheap premium. And, I try to explain to business owners that your insurance policy is nothing more than a contract. And just if you're going to sign a contract with a contractor or whoever it might be, you're going to read the whole contract and look at it, because if it is too good of a deal, if the cost is too low, there's a reason that it's too low. And in the insurance world, it's because the exclusions are very, very long in a policy. And a lot of people think they get a great deal just because the premium's cheap, and usually they do not.
So you're saying not all insurance is created equal. Obviously, not all insurance companies are created equal. And you get what you pay for. So walk us through that just for a second, if you would. Why is that? Why is cheaper not necessarily better?
Well, because what happens with an insurance policy is that I like to jokingly say they give you coverage on page 2 and they take it away on page 87. Because they're complicated, and they're all underwritten by actuaries. The insurance companies are very confident. They know what their costs are going to be most of the time, because they have enough data, big data, to help them to know. And so they are not all the same. You also have carriers, insurance companies, who specialize in certain areas. And that's where you do want to have a broker who's been around the block long enough to know, okay, these are the right carriers for this type of a risk. And then for another risk, you go somewhere else. And so they're clearly not all equal. And it takes a team effort to make that all be lined up properly with the right carriers.
So if I'm a business owner, what questions should I be asking? How do I know if what I have is suitable to what I need?
The first question I would ask, if I reversed the roles and sat on the other side of the desk here, would be, I would want to know more about their level of expertise. I would like to know what carriers the insurance agent has access to. I would also want to know if they would allow it. I'd love to talk to some of their customers to learn about customer service. And probably one of the biggest things I'd like to see is what is the expectation? How often am I going to see you, Mr. Agent or Mrs. Agent? Am I going to have you show up once a year to collect a premium check and then I'll see you again next year? Or are we going to meet quarterly? Or are we going to, we're going to have a Zoom call each month to make sure that you're up to speed with where our business is going? Because what the question you want to have answered is, do I have a partner here, or do I just have a salesman that's trying to sell me something so they get their commission check?
we live in the age of information gathering. All information is available to us on our smartphones at all times. If I am needing to do research on insurance and the kind of insurance I may need as a business owner, where do I go and get it?
Well, online, you never know what you're going to get online. And so you have to be careful. There are some very reputable areas. One area that I'm a numbers guy, so I'm always looking to make sure that our carriers are financially sound. And there's a company by the name of AM Best, which that's all they do. They just rank insurance. They monitor, and then they offer ratings for the financial strength of insurance companies. That's clearly one area, because you don't want to be insured by some B-rated company or C-rated company that's going out of business. And so that would be one area. The Insurance Journal is a very reputable, well, in the old days it was a magazine. Now it's online, and they tend to keep you very much up to speed with what's going on in the industry. And then as for which carriers are doing best, there are a few areas. One, if you have a reputable agent, ask him or her. Let them do the research for you. Every state has what's called the Independent Insurance Agents Association, or the Big I. That's also a really good resource for where to find out about insurance companies and who's doing well and who's paying their claims and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And we were talking a second ago off camera about insurance companies not, companies themselves not all being created equal, and some are, financially strong and sound and all of that, and yet there are others that not so much. And with some of these big claims, like we were talking about the wildfires in Northern California, for example, and the enormous amount that some insurance companies had to pay out. Some insurance companies could be like some of these banks of late, where they go from being solvent to maybe insolvent and being, taken over by the states. And all of a sudden the insurance you thought you had, you might not have anymore.
It could happen. Yeah. Kind of like the banks that went under here a week or a month or so ago. Insurance companies each state has a fund to make sure that claims do get paid if that were to happen. But, there are definitely insurance companies that are struggling, particularly right now. Historically, the insurance industry has also always been very cyclical as it moves from hard markets to soft markets, hard markets being high premiums, soft markets being low premiums. And that typically happens. But we have moved into a very, very hard market. I lived through 2008, 2001. I was working in London during 1987 on Black Monday, when that hurt the insurance market as well. And all of those times, what has happened is that the claims became so significant that insurance companies actually operated at a loss. And that's what's happening right now as well. Many, I won't say most, but many insurance companies, particularly those who have large property risks, they're operating at what's called a combined ratio. A combined ratio is just simply the amount of premium brought in as compared to the amount of claims paid out and their overhead. When you add those two up, for every dollar in premium that insurance companies bringing in, they're paying out $1.05 to $1.10 right now.
Wow.
And so they're operating at a loss. But what insurance companies have always done, I mean, they have billions and billions of dollars that are invested in the stock market and the bond market. And historically, they have always tried to offset the operating losses with their income, their investment income from those investments. Now, the stock market has kind of waffled, up and down and all over the place recently. And so insurance companies are really feeling the pinch. And so what's happening, particularly in the property market, and for anybody listening who has a company that has a lot of property that needs to be insured, your agent has hopefully advised you of this. The premiums are going up significantly because some carriers have just decided they're going to cut their losses and get out of the market right now. And that combined, so now there's less carriers, and these less carriers need to increase their premiums because they're taking such big losses. And so we're seeing big increases on property risks. I read the other day that nationwide, the average increase in property is 20% increases.
Wow.
But I will tell you, 20 is small compared to some I've seen.
So So they're passing on the additional expense to their policyholders.
They have to. Insurance is all about the law of large numbers. That's everybody pays their little portion of the large claims. And obviously, if somebody has a large claim, they don't pay for the whole claim. They just pay their premiums. And so, yeah, everybody shares in those risks. You mentioned the wildfires. You're in California, Mike. You saw the flooding that happened this first quarter of this year. There's a lot of that. Hurricane Ian was about a year ago. That they're projecting now that the insurance claims for just Hurricane Ian are going to be near $100 billion that are going to be paid out.
So as we wrap up here, I just have a couple more questions. Number one, somebody once said there's two things about insurance: everybody wants it, and nobody wants to pay for it. Okay.
Yeah. Welcome to my life. That's the story I hear every day.
I think that's pretty true. My own mantra is, if it's something I know that I need, but I'm not necessarily interested in devoting energy to, I kind of want two things: solve my problem and make it painless. Can you walk us briefly through how you do that with the business owner that knows they need insurance, just doesn't want to invest any energy in it, but wants the right thing?
Well, yeah, I can. There are a lot of ways to manage your risk. One of them is to buy an insurance policy, and people can do that. Another way to manage risk is to transfer your risk. That's a legal move where if you have the appropriate attorneys that know how to draft contracts and to move that risk, that's a very good way to manage risk. And we try to advise our clients of all these different ways they can manage their risks. And, that has been one thing that's really been helpful with my relation with the National Referral Network, is that I mentioned when we started here that we just try to solve problems for our clients. And sometimes that's insurance related and sometimes it's not. We try to be that source, that guy who seems to know the right people for us to get in touch with. And so we try to play that role of a client coming to us and saying, hey, look, I have this problem. Do you know somebody that knows how to fix this? And that's where the National Referral Network has been so helpful, because of all the experts that we have access to by being a member.
Yeah, and the network obviously believes that no one is anymore an island unto themselves. We cannot operate in this silo mentality anymore, because I think our clients, they want resources, they want information, they want things to be painless. They just do, but they want it. They want solutions delivered effectively, and so professionals linking arms in the network, the way you just mentioned, is vital to today's practitioner.
Business owners, they want a team of people who advise them. They don't want just one guy, because one guy doesn't know everything, and they want to know that they have access to a team. And I love playing that quarterback role for our clients, where they can come to me and I connect them with whoever it is that they might need. And so as working with business owners and being a business owner, I want the same thing. I want to have a team of people that I can lean on when I have something that comes up.
Wow, that's great. Well, as we wrap up, any final thoughts, Mark?
No, just buckle in, folks, for insurance. It's a tough space right now. I'm telling this story every day to my clients and to prospective clients that I do see this lasting for a few years. This is not going to be a get in and get out kind of a thing. We're in for a tough road on the insurance world for quite a few years, I think. And so just prepare yourself. Make sure you're getting good advice. Make sure you have a team of people who you're working with. It's not just one person. And I would also make sure that you're working with a broker who has access to multiple carriers. You get tied into a captive and you only get one insurance company, and you're really limiting your resources. And so I would recommend that as well, that make sure you're dealing with somebody who has a lot of expertise and really has a lot of experience in the insurance space.
Wow. Okay. That's great. And the last thing is, how many insurance agents does it take to change a light bulb here? I don't know. They're all in the dark. It seems like their companies are going broke. Maybe we'll edit this out, of course, but
most people tell me that's because they can't do it fast enough because they're on the golf course.
Yeah, okay. Oh, well, that's another discussion. Thank you, Mark, for giving us a few minutes, and we will be here next week, same time, same station. Thanks, folks, for those of you that are watching this live. And if you have any questions, want to know more about the National Referral Network, you can check us out at nrnamerica.com. So we will see you next week.
Thanks. Bye-bye.